And Hillary Clinton speaking to people at the New Manhattan, one of 20 candidates now that Scott Walker is going to be getting into the race for president in 2015. She, of course, one of 5 Democrats who is running. We're going to take your phone calls. You can let us know what you think about Hillary Clinton's economic plan as she's just laid it out here in Manhattan. The numbers to call: Democrats 202-748-8920. Republicans call 202-748-8921, and independents and all others 202-748-8922. And Lynn's been waiting on the line in Marlton, New Jersey for independents. Lynn, go ahead. Let us know what you think about Hillary Clinton's economic plan.
Yes, I heard Hillary talk about building on Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and how she said that has helped about 16 million Americans, and how a lot of Americans are still struggling with huge prescription drug costs. What we really need, and Hillary needs to get to, is what Bernie Sanders has supported and what John Conyers has supported, which is universal health care, where we simply all get a card that says that we can go to any doctor, any hospital, any prescription, and it is paid for in the same way that our National Guard is paid for, through tax revenues, where if we need extra help, we get it. If we don't need extra help, then we're just among the fortunate. But for Hillary to keep talking about just fixing other things, family leave and all this, but we don't have the basic core health care that will help every American, is something that she just needs to start looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Your call from New Jersey. Moving on to the Republicans line. This is John in New Braunfels, Texas. Sorry, Vincennes, Indiana. Bill, go ahead.
All right. Well, I just think, as I was listening, I was thinking of more of the same of what we've already had. Talking about Obamacare, I think this has been a great failure. I think this is something that if we continue to do, it's going to continue to drain other areas in the Medicare, Medicaid areas, and it's going to cause more problems than it causes anything else. And she talks about these things like talking about, like, it's not more like she's positive about it. It's more like it's a hope, it's a dream, it's a thought. Well, those things are nice, but it's time to come down to reality. It's time that we start a goal in this country to get back to our roots and come back to the side of getting people together, not pushing people apart. And I think that's what what I heard today. I think that's more pushing everybody apart than bringing them together. I think this country could be good again, but it takes all of us, and we need a leader that notices that.
And Bill, who do you think you'd be voting for if you had to vote today?
If I had to vote today, I would say Chris Christie, followed real close by Jeb Bush. All
right, thanks for the call. Moving on to Independence line. This is John in New Braunfels, Texas.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to point out that she made the statement that corporations have been paying nearly 50% of their profits out in the forms of dividends and stock buybacks. And, you know, that's the average over any 10-year period going back several decades. And so that's a decision that should be made by, the boards of the corporations who are elected by the shareholders to allocate those resources. And so I don't feel comfortable with the idea that Ms. Clinton thinks that she can better allocate capital than the boards and officers of corporations who have actual expertise in these areas that she has no experience.
All right, John, thanks for the call. Time Magazine actually has a very large spread, big article about that. Hillary Clinton will pledge profit-sharing incentives to boost wages. You can check that out, time.com. As we take your phone calls, let us know what you think about Hillary Clinton. She just got finished laying out her plan for what she wants to do with the U.S. economy. Nancy's on the line, Franklin Park, New Jersey Democrat.
Hi, this is Nancy. I just got in the last 5 minutes of her talk there, so I'm sorry I had missed it. But I just want to let Hillary know that she would be a light for this country, and if she were president, she'd be a light for the world. And she has so many good ideas, and economy is just one small thing that she'll hit on, but there's so many things that she would be good at, and she has my vote. Just wanted to let her know that.
All right, Nancy, and since you did say you missed the entirety of her speech, anybody who did miss it, you can go online, cspan.org. You can watch it right from the top and get all of the points that she made during this pretty comprehensive speech here. Republican line, Kathy, Elwood City, Pennsylvania. Kathy, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yes, thank you for taking my call. I think Mrs. Clinton needs to address her past controversial performances before she can talk about trust and future proposals that she might have for America's future. And as far as the past versus the present or the future, I think America has been great in the past, and some of the things from the past that we shouldn't let go of to initiate maybe changes in the future that may not be good for our country. And she also proposes other means to get things done than using the three branches of government that has made our country great, and I think that's very dangerous talk. And I think Mrs. Clinton has a lot of other explanations to make before she can talk about proposing anything for our country.
And Kathy, you mentioned controversies. Any specific ones that are really on your mind?
Benghazi, all the email controversies that has been going on about her emails and how she used her emails.
All right, and if you did have to vote today, who's interesting you as far as president?
Who's interesting me right now is Donald Trump. He's fresh, he's new, his credentials are good. I also like Ted Cruz, and Walker is now in the make. So, as you can tell, I'm conservative, and I like that type of talk that is going on in America right now, and I would vote for that type of person.
All right, Kathy, thanks for the call. A number of people, all of whom the other candidates, Hillary Clinton did mention in her remarks, kind of rebutting their own proposals, their own ideas with some of her own on the economy. Coy is calling Columbus, Ohio, independent.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very good. Coy, what'd you think?
I kind of like it, but the Obamacare thing is good in a way. But I've been working through a temp service for about 2 years, and to a temp service, they don't have to give you insurance. And I thought under the Obamacare law that if they have more than 50 employees, they have to offer you insurance. And to a temp service company, they do not have to offer you insurance or benefits. They pay you hourly, and they don't have to hire you.
And Coy, you're at a temp agency, is that what you said?
Yeah, I've been to a temp agency for 2 years.
And what kind of work are you doing through them?
Warehouse.
Okay, warehouse work. And if you had to vote today for president, who do you think would get your vote?
Well, right now it's still up in the air. I need to see more that's going on.
All right.
With all the presidency candidates. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Coy, for the call. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Democrat. Andrew's on the line. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, how are you doing this morning?
Real good. What'd you think about what you heard from Hillary?
Actually, I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Some things of particular interest to me were some of the clean energy plans that she might have in the future. That's something to me I think would be actually really interesting to see, and increased research and development in these areas I think we can massively benefit from. In addition to that, actually, the other thing I thought was just really progressive. I like how she was willing to kind of reach across party lines a little bit to kind of go ahead and put maybe some plans in play for those with big business and support for the banking industry as well. So I'm pretty optimistic, although I'm actually more intrigued to kind of see what more details get fleshed out in the future as she moves on.
Right. Well, great. Thanks for the call there, Andrew. And again, Hillary Clinton, she just finished up laying out her policy ideas for the economy, the U.S. economy, here at the New School. This is in Manhattan. We're taking your calls. You can let us know what you think. Also weigh in on Facebook.com or send us a tweet, Twitter, And James is calling Belton, South Carolina Republican. Hi, James.
Hello. How you doing?
Very good. What did you think about what you heard here?
Well, I'm not a real great fan. But, it's the same thing pretty much here. I mean, with the energy plans, we heard that from the current president. And, it really hasn't worked. Solar, wind, electric cars, we need more research on that before we can say anything positive about that. And, I just don't think she's the right person to lead this country. I think, I like I'm not a big fan of Trump either, but, I like what he says. He tells it like it is. He may be misunderstood, but, as far as, energy and, and the key part of getting anything, and I can't believe there are so many, I hate to say it, naive people, they have to know that we need our jobs back from China, India, Malaysia. I mean, all these countries that have taken our big jobs and corporations and manufacturing, and the trade agreements are truly unfair for us. Until these things are fixed, we can't do anything, really. I mean, you can stand up there and say, we're going to do this, I want to do that, and I want to do this, but we have to have liquidity, I mean, we have to have people making money.
And James, is that why Trump interests you a lot?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I've been saying that for, almost decades now, that watching the jobs just and the mills around this town just shut down. I mean, there's really no jobs other than hospitality and industry and restaurant, really. And, it's not really doing anything for this town.
Sorry to cut you off there, James. James calling from Belton, South Carolina. Take a look at a couple of tweets about Hillary Clinton, her economic plan that she just talked about. One from Jonathan Martin, a reporter. Hillary Camp has been mulling profit-sharing proposals with workers for a while. And then Jonathan Allen says Clinton addresses breaking down barriers so more Americans participate more fully in the workforce, especially women. Another one from Jonathan Allen. It's time to recognize that quality, affordable child care is not a luxury. It's a growth strategy, says Hillary Clinton. One from Stephen Dennis. Hillary Clinton appeared to just take Social Security cuts sort of off the table. Simpson and Bowles shed tears. And Stephen Dennis, Hillary will unveil profit-sharing incentives for corporations, says will boost productivity and be a win-win. And Jonathan Allen tweets, it's now ridiculous to attack Clinton for not laying out her vision. This is the most comprehensive policy outline of anyone in the campaign. 20 candidates, including Scott Walker. He's expected to make an announcement today. We're going to take you there live at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be on our companion network, C-SPAN 3. Taking your phone calls now. Julian on the line, Cochranville, Pennsylvania, Independent.
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me on today.
You bet.
Yeah, so I was calling because I caught the last bit of her speech, and, I noticed a lot of the same political jargon that many other Democratic candidates were coming up with. The breaking up of big banks, having corporate buybacks being eliminated, trying to limit the amount of high-frequency trading. While I'm not going to disagree that these are all problems, I can't help but agree with Cenk Uygur, who was on, the host of the Young Turks, who was on C-SPAN a couple months ago. Not a lot of solutions being offered. Yes, we're addressing the problems. We're saying what, we're having difficulties with and the disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street. But she doesn't actually say what she's going to do about it. She addresses that it's a problem and that it's something that needs to be taken care of. But really what's disheartening is that how are we supposed to believe her in breaking up of the big banks if, most of her contributions, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Merrill Lynch. How do you take someone like that seriously? If on the one hand they're saying they want to do something about the problem, while on the other hand taking contributions from the problem, And if you're going to address the big banks, wouldn't you need to say something or address the Federal Reserve too? I mean, to not even mention the Federal Reserve, you can't mention the big investment banks without talking about them.
Now, Julian, as an independent voter, who do you think you'd cast your vote for?
If I had to, I would do a write-in for Kshama Sawant, a councilwoman from Seattle, to be honest with you, the socialist movement. But realistically, Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thanks for the call, Julian. Steve is on the line, Democrats line, Beloit, Wisconsin. And Steve, yeah, I guess you've got a governor who's going to be announcing this evening.
Yeah, I understand that. But what Hillary said about the profit sharing, mm-hmm. I'm in my 70s, and when I started working, we had profit sharing in both our companies, and that encouraged the people to do a better job, and we ended up at the end of the year, if we made a decent profit, we ended up with those dollars going into our either pension plan or into our savings account. Mm-hmm. And now, when we became part of a large corporation, boom, the first thing they did was took it away, and that was in both cases. They took it away from the people. Now what they do is, like she says, they give it out in dividends, and they give it out in buybacks through stock buybacks, which helps nobody who doesn't own stock in a corporation. And so consequently, that's how the people, at least that's the way I see it, how the people who are already have the money are getting more money, and the poor person who's sitting there making the product for the company is not participating, and he's just stuck with wages that have been held back. I mean, the last couple of years I worked, we got 10% pay cuts both years in order to keep the company going, and down the line the company died anyhow. But so that's why the people are not sharing in the income of the company, the income of the United States. And that's really all I wanted to say.
All right.
I agree with her on that.
Okay, thanks, Steve, for the call. And just a look here at Times article, maybe laying out a little bit more information. Hillary Clinton will pledge profit-sharing incentives to boost wages. Talks about her speech that just wrapped up to change the tax code to encourage corporate profit sharing, calling programs a win-win for businesses and employees. You can read more here, time.com. Want to get just one more call in. Cindy, Rockingham, North Carolina, Republican.
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
Thank you for my opportunity to speak. Well, first of all, I see from what Hillary has said, it seems to me like they want more control of the corporations and the businesses, and it seems like that the people will still not share in on the most of the profit, and the corporations and the people with money will still be receiving all of the profits. And then it seems like that if they get the control, they take more money away from the people that are running the corporations, where they can't hire more people. And then I see that she was encouraging road building and bridge building and all this stuff, which she is, to me, making an impression that she wants all hard laborers, but and not really helping the people that are trying to get educations to get out of debt, when she says that we're going to let them redo another loan. Well, they're already in debt, and why would they want to do another loan? Why can't, if they really want to help and they're going to get all the control at the top, why don't they give them free education and free health care and everything? And then the second thing is she's not concentrating on drug problems in our country and crime and how much money that's going to cost. And all I see is she's creating a utopia world with a lot of no solutions and leading the lambs to the slaughter. Actually, it's like leading the people to elect her, but there's no solutions, and the people will end up laboring all the time for the upper class. And
real briefly, Cindy, who are you interested in for president?
Okay, my first person I'm thinking of is Trump. I like Trump because my background is law enforcement, and Trump is right. I do not have any problem with Spanish and Mexican and Latin Americans. They're wonderful people, and I agree with Trump. Trump is not saying they're bad people. Trump is saying that their country is trying to run our country and dumping all the bad things on us of killing our people and hurting our people as far as criminals are concerned. But the majority of the Latin American people are very devoted, working hard people.
All right,
and
Cindy,
they also are family oriented. The second person that I would vote for would be Walker or Cruz.
All right, and on that note, let you know that we are going to be hearing from Scott Walker, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time tonight.